Hello world and welcome back. Today is a very exciting day because after months of you guys messaging us about Mikey and Mia's diet, we have taken all your worries away and made for you Mikey and Mia's dry mix. This video will be for you if you have bought a bag, thinking about buying a bag, why we made this, the pros and cons, and absolutely everything in between. Now let's start with what is in this magical bag. We have over 50 ingredients in this bag, all human grade, none of that cheap feed grade stuff. You can literally eat it yourself, and I'm pretty sure this is the only bag on the market that has this much variety. There are loads of other amazing companies doing stuff like this, but you do have to buy multiple bags. This is an all-in-one kind of deal. Now we are rocking two sizes with this. We got our 150 gram bag, kind of like a little taster. It's got 100 grams of dry mix, 50 grams of spicy seed mix, and a 350 gram bag which has 225 grams of dry mix and 115 grams of spicy seed mix, which will last double the time and is way less than double the cost. We're also going to do same day dispatch on all orders placed before 3 o'clock, and of course, worldwide shipping. Now, each bag contains a wide variety. There's freeze-dried fruits and vegetables, there's dried edible flowers, there's herbs, there's spices, and of course the spicy seed mix, which has 10 different seeds, as well as chili seeds, green peppers, and red peppers, just for that cheeky little kick. Now, this mix does not actually contain any nuts, as many of you, just like us, like to reserve nuts for training and rewards. But in the future, we were actually thinking, why not get 9 of the best nuts together, chop them up into treat size, and throw them on the store as well? I mean, if they were around right now, I would definitely buy them. Let us know if you guys want that. Now, when we first started feeding this diet, there was an absolute crazy amount of you wanting to know how we made it, what we put in it, if the birds liked it, and an absolutely insane amount of people saying, wow, finally you guys learnt? I mean, to us, dry mix was pretty new, as it may have been for you guys too. But this is far from a new diet or trend. It's been fed to thousands of birds for many years. I mean, just look at the Avian Raw Whole Food Nutrition Group. There's close to like 17,000 people there that geek out about feeding their birds stuff like this just to do the absolute best they can. Now, most of you who have tried this are absolutely over the moon. We get messages from you guys all the time saying how your bird's behavior's improved, how their feather conditions improved, how they're actually enjoying their meals instead of eating literally the same thing every single night. I mean, with a bag like this with 51 different ingredients in it, they're guaranteed a slightly different meal every single night. Now, one of the reasons we actually made this for you guys is because when we first started feeding it, an influencer actually had some concerns which we greatly appreciated about her fans trying to do this and cut pellets out of their diet. Now, we never ever said to not feed pellets. We choose not to feed pellets because most pellet brands, apart from Tops and Bird Tricks pellets, are heat pressed, burning most of the goodness out of them and are actually filled with cheap feed grade meals. I mean, the main ingredient in most of these bad pellet brands are peanuts, soy, corn meals. They have artificial vitamins and minerals. I mean, I personally don't actually know many bird owners that want to go out of their way to actually feed peanuts. I mean, the risks with peanuts alone are pretty crazy. But if you want to feed pellets along with something like this, that's totally okay. We never said not to. I mean, we've just never really been a fan. We've had Mikey 5.5 years now, so we're still pretty new to this, but we only fed pellets daily for maybe like 13 months. Before that, it was raw fruit and veg, soaked in sprouted seeds and beans. We gave them nuts and seeds as treats, and they have both thrived beautifully. So I can safely say pellets are not needed, but if you want to feed them, some have great benefits. They're easy, they're convenient, they're cheap. Some of the good ones are pretty well balanced too, but we would strongly recommend a cold pressed pellet with quality ingredients over a heat pressed pellet with cheap fillers. I mean, we have offered our guys Tops pellets along with this dry mix and they just don't touch it. Someone actually messaged me saying since they added a bunch of dry mix to their Tops pellets, the birds started ignoring the Tops just because they wanted to eat real foods. And if you actually look at the 25 ingredients on Tops, most of these are actually in there. Now, one point this influencer actually brought up was that kids watch our videos. And we love you guys out there that are kids. But she was worried kids are gonna try and create their own dry mixes and have no idea what to do. Now, I don't mean to be offensive of any sort, but if you are a child that lives in your parents' home, there is a high chance your parents are the ones providing for you. They get the final say. They gave you permission to have a bird. They decide where it sleeps, what it sleeps in, and to an extent, what it eats. So if you ask your mum for £300 to buy 51 human-grade ingredients to feed your pet bird, there is a very, very high chance she is going to say no. They may just give you a small budget, and if you decide to cut out pellets and just feed a few ingredients, that bird will more than likely not get what it needs. Now, I was actually sent a screenshot of what I can only assume was a child who decided to cut out pellets and only fed their bird lettuce. This is not only where common sense, but research and intelligence comes into play. So if you are a child watching this, thinking it is a great idea to make your own dry mix by cutting out pellets and feeding your birds nothing but lettuce, please call your parents into the room ASAP. Now, this is a huge reason why we've actually put this together for you guys, to take out all the stress about shopping around multiple different stores and having to buy massive quantities in bulk, because setting this up even with the smallest amount of each ingredient isn't really cheap. Now, you may think, if you do plan to completely replace pellets with this, again, not what we're saying to do at all, you guys can mix and choose how you want, you can phase them out slowly, but if you do switch like we did, you might think from going from an ultra-processed pellet-based dinner diet to something a bit more healthy, your bird may lose weight. Let me give you an example. If I ate pizza and burgers for an entire year straight, and then the year after, I ate a bunch of salads and healthy stuff, there is a very, very high chance I will lose weight. Is that a bad thing? Probably not. I mean, I personally know people that have dropped over 40% of their body weight and never felt better. But birds are a little bit different, and that could be extremely risky. So with any form of diet change, you always need to keep an eye on your bird's weight. Now, most of the birds we have surveyed that have switched to this diet haven't been affected at all, or dropped extremely minimal amounts if fed correctly and enough, of course. 1 or 2 have said their birds have dropped a little bit more than they expected, so they started adding in a couple of pellets here and there again until their birds really get used to it. In our case, Mia is actually heavier than she was when she was eating 35 grams of pellets a day, which is crazy. I don't know how that happened, and I did not expect that. And Mikey dropped around 20 grams, which is totally fine, because that's actually less than he fluctuates from morning till evening anyway. And he's always been a bit of a fatty, so I'm kind of glad he lost a little bit of weight. But if you do plan on replacing pellets, if that is your evening meal, make sure your bird is still getting a large variety of nuts for all the nutrition and the fats, along with fruit, veg, soaked and sprouted seeds, beans, and grain. Seriously, our guys eat their sprouting blend faster than they do a walnut. It's crazy how much they love that. Now, observation is key when introducing new food items. Sometimes, if you give a bird something they've never seen before, they will not know it is actually food. Now, our guys only took about 3 to 4 days to really start enjoying this. Some birds converting food can take weeks, even months. Depends on your bird. So always observe what they are eating for the first few weeks. Now, I'm not saying just go standing by their bowls for hours while they're eating, but stop by now and then. See what they do enjoy, see what they do leave, see when they eat their different ingredients, in what order. It's actually quite fascinating. Now, when feeding, everyone is gonna have a different amount. We feed our guys maybe just over 3 large tablespoons of dry mix with 1 flat, if not small, tablespoon of spicy seed mix. They both will go for different things first. Mikey always goes for the seeds first, when Mia actually experiments with quite a few different things and always actually goes for the coconut first. Now, they both will usually finish the majority of these bowls, just leaving a few flowers and dust behind. Tonight, slightly different story because they don't really like eating on the table, so they ended up going to their bowls anyway. But when feeding, if a bird is eating all of their food, honestly, feed more. We love it when our guys are full. If they aren't eating as much, you can always just reduce the portion for the next day. You never really want to give them too much food at once, otherwise they'll just kind of pick and choose what they like. Giving them a smaller portion initially and then adding to it makes them think, oh wow, is this it? We better eat it all. Now, if you do have a picky bird, I have an amazing tip for you guys, which actually worked a treat for our guys. If you take out each individual ingredient and introduce it to them individually, like a piece of corn, a piece of dragon fruit, a piece of star anise, anything like that, and make a big deal about it, they usually will respond a whole lot better than cramming everything into a bowl at once. Another cheeky trick which you could do, put it in your own bowl. Sit on the couch, turn on the TV, grab a spoon, start eating it. Remember, you can eat this as well. there is a very high chance your birds are going to get pretty interested pretty fast because, you know, birds always want what they can't have and they love to try get our human food. Now, if you end up buying this, feed it to your bird and they absolutely love it, we actually plan to slightly change the ingredients in each individual batch. Just maybe 5 or 6 food items as you guys give us feedback, just to keep things fresh and exciting. And in the future, we do plan to sell the spicy seed mix as a standalone purchase, as well as maybe a mix with very, very minimal fruit. I remember when we very first made our mix, it was pretty fruit heavy, so we've cut it down drastically for this. Also, the little bag of nut treats with 9 different nuts. Would you guys like that? A bag filled with a giant variety of nuts, like literally every decent nut, all cut up into different shapes and sizes. Let us know in the comments. Now, you may find if you do have multiple birds, they might eat different things. Mikey and Mia always eat different things. They'll actually swap bowls mid-dinner just to eat the things the other one hasn't eaten. Now, some days our guys will eat ingredients that they haven't eaten for a few days before that, because they know what their bodies have had and what it needs of that specific thing. I actually heard once that one bird owner had 5 different brands of pellets, mix them together in their birds' bowls every single day. And every day, the birds would eat a certain amount more of one pellet than another, and that would differ every single day. This is because birds actually know what their bodies are lacking and what their bodies do need. I guess it's kind of like how sometimes we crave meat or a salad, or like if you're super hungover and you just desperately need that leftover pizza from the night before. Okay, that might have been a bad example. Now, scrolling over social media, I did see a comment that said, is there any scientific evidence that says birds should be eating stuff like this over ultra-processed foods? Now, we aren't here trying to replicate exactly what birds eat in the wild. The wild is a tough place. No one knows exactly what a parrot is going to eat day after day after day out there. A parrot in the wild may try and find food, but not eat for an entire day. But the next day may find a tree filled with fruit and fill its whole crop with it. The next day, maybe something different. And even though we do free fly and our birds do get to burn a whole lot of energy, there is no way I'm giving our guys an entire bowl of fruit in the morning. Honestly, they'll just be absolutely crazy until they sleep. But for a captive bird, offering a huge, diverse selection of everything they could eat in the wild, which is fruits, veg, flowers, herbs, seeds, nuts, is a logical option. Now, I'm not sure if there is any scientific papers out there, because I'm not really sure if anyone would want to fund an experiment to see if birds should be eating what they have always eaten since the dawn of time, or if ultra-processed food with artificial ingredients would actually be better. I mean, if I got a lion as a pet, I'm not gonna mess around trying to find like lion pellets. I know these animals eat giant chunks of meat. But the 51 ingredients in this bag does offer a huge variety of vitamins. I think the only one we are lacking is vitamin D, and I'm sure you guys know the best way to get vitamin D is in the sun. These birds aren't designed to live in our homes in cages. If your birds aren't getting any sun, honestly, get them harness trained, net your garden, get an outdoor aviary. Like I've said before, these birds never chose to be pets, so it's our job to give them the best possible life we can. Now, before I do wrap up, I just want to say, don't buy this product just to support us. Don't buy it just because you want something from Mikey and Mia. Buy it if you want to give your birds a crazy large variety that smells and tastes amazing. So like I said before, there's the 350 gram bag, there's the 150 gram taster. Head over to our website now, mikeyandmia.co.uk/food. You can find all the info there. And for any reason, if you guys disagree with anything I'm saying, I would love to know. Drop it in the comments, pop us an email, pop a message on our socials. And for those who want to dig deeper and want info backing everything I've just said up, hit up experts like Dr. Jason Crean, Dr. Karen Becker, Dr. Stacey Lamb, Dr. Rodney Habib. All massive advocates of feeding raw diets and also do support very minimally processed pellets. This day is very exciting for us. We can't wait for your birds to try this. If you guys have any questions, like I said, feel free to hit us up. There'll be more products hitting the site soon, but for now, we're gonna leave you at this. So thanks for watching and happy eating to all. Bye-bye.